How you doing, everybody? It's your boy Wardy, and as you can see, we're back at it talking about the Amazons. First and foremost, I want to wish you all and your families and friends a very happy new year. We are officially in 2024. We are over 3 years into WardyNYM. We are about to encounter our 4th season covering the club here on the channel, which I'm so excited to get into. We're going to hit new heights like never before here in WardyNYM, and thanks to your endless support over the years, we have been the #1 stop for all things Mets here on YouTube, not directly affiliated with the Mets organization or SNY themselves. So seriously, thank you all so much for the endless support, and thank you in advance for smashing that like and subscribe on in today's video for your boy, because we have a big conversation to get into. I told you guys in my last live show I was intending on doing a shorter video regarding said players in which the Mets have been showing interest in, and how both JD Martinez and Gio Urshela look like potentially a great combo signing should the Mets be able to land both players this offseason. So we're going to get into now, what do I like about JD Martinez and Gio Urshela? Why are the Mets pursuing both these players? What is the likelihood, unlikelihood of landing said players, and everything in between? And again, thank you guys all so much in advance for chiming in to WardyNYM. But let's hop right in. I want to know your initial thoughts, comments, questions, and concerns down below to the latest that yes, the Mets have had plenty of interest in both JD Martinez and Gio Urshela alike. And I've spoken at great length about both these players in recent content, so make sure to check out those videos and live shows in case you haven't already. But let's start 2024 off with a bang here, because these are two guys that for more reasons than one would do wonders for this Mets team, really helping round out their roster for 2024 on the offensive end. Yes, the Mets have plenty of holes they still need to fill. They still need to land another outfielder, a DH, probably potentially an infield platoon type option that could maybe play outfield as well. Plenty in the bullpen, plenty in the rotation. They know that they have a lot of work to do, but given the latest reports that we have seen at this point, starting with JD Martinez, let's explain why a little bit further JD Martinez and Gio Urshela together would be such a nice combo signings, landing both players, if you will. But starting off with JDM, I don't think I need to expand too much more on JD and his game, but for those that aren't aware, JD Martinez is coming off of a tremendous season with the LA Dodgers in his age 35-36 year, 33 home runs, 103 RBIs. I had the graphic wrong the last time I did it, I apologize, and just under 480 plate appearances, 113 games. We're looking at just under a 900 OPS, batting against lefties over 900 OPS, a 2.2 WAR, a 135 WRC plus, which means he's better than 35% of the hitters in baseball today. He is that good at his age. He got back to his 2021 and previous numbers during his time in Boston. 2022 fluctuated quite a bit with his back ailments. The Mets tried hard to trade for him at the deadline. He ended up staying put in Boston, and his one and only year likely with the LA Dodgers put up quite the showing. Now we know other teams, including the Angels and the D-backs, have interest in JDM, so it wouldn't shock me if he ends up going elsewhere because, say, he wants a better chance of winning a World Series right away. That would be the D-backs. Or say he wants a bag and overpay. Maybe he wants to get long-term 3-4 year deal to really round out his career. I could see the Angels being the type of team to pony up a contract similar along those lines. But JD Martinez on a 1 year, maybe with a 2nd year option, I love that fit for the New York Mets. Would give them a proven power hitter outside of Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Francisco Alvarez inside the lineup. If you look at all of his advanced numbers, I've spoken at them at great length through Baseball Savant. XWOBA, expected batting average, slug, everything in between offensively. He is in the high 90s. He is amongst the best hitters in baseball, and power-wise, you could argue that he's up there, right there with Pete Alonso and others, Aaron Judge, as the best true power hitters in the game. Would average exit velo in the 98, 99 percentiles. Everything, sweet spot percentage, barrel percentage. This guy is truly a phenom when it comes to murdering baseballs, and we should expect more of the same next season. And again, I have been under the expectation that if the Mets land JD Martinez, knowing that Citi Field is not a batter's park, and knowing that he isn't getting any younger, I'm not expecting him to have the same exact stat line he did this past season. So even if JD Martinez on a 1 or 2 year deal gives you in his first year at least 25 home runs, north of 90 RBIs, around 800 or so OPS, which again could be 100 points lower essentially than this past season with the Dodgers. But what Mets fan would be complaining for that short-term DH fit, knowing you're getting so much more production than you ever have thanks to the Daniel Vogelbacks, the Tyler Naquins, their Darren Ruffs of the world, the not JD Martinez, the JD Davises, the Dom Smiths, the list goes on and on. The Mets need a competent DH. If they land JD Martinez, they don't just get a competent DH, they get arguably the best in baseball, or truly one of the best, of course, with Shohei Ohtani at the top of the list for obvious reasons. But that is all the appeal with JD Martinez, and then some that you guys guys know about. But a guy I want to expand on a little bit further here is Gio Urshela. Gio Urshela, the Mets have been showing recent interest in, according to the New York Post. And why do I like Gio Urshela quite a bit as a fit? As we know, both the Mets and the Yankees are showing interest in the veteran infielder, in which he played, not a big sample size last year, because unfortunately a broken pelvis ended his 2023 campaign with the LA Angels. But the former Yankee, the former Cleveland Indian, now Guardians, is looking like he could be a nice fit for the Mets, mainly if the Mets do not sign Justin Turner. Let me make something clear. This combo deal, if you will, by landing both JD Martinez and Gio Urshela makes plenty of sense as long as you are not bringing in Justin Turner, and I'll expand on that here shortly. Now let me pull up the highlights here for Urshela for you guys right there. You'll love to see it. But Justin Turner, if he lands with the Mets, he can kiss JD Martinez and probably Gio Urshela goodbye, because JT, who I'm really not opposed of, is a nice short-term fit for DH and also can play around the infield, can help be a mentor for someone like Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos, among others, can even play second and first base if you need him to, even though hopefully you don't need him to too much. The guy's 39, he isn't getting any younger. But if you do not bring back Justin Turner, if you do not go that full circle story of having basically finished his career where he started, and instead you go for a JD Martinez and a Gio Urshela route, I love this idea as well, because Gio Urshela can help provide all the aspects defensively to help the game of both Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos. What it also tells me is, I understand we all want a nice leash for Brett Beatty next season, and hopefully he still gets that, but there's a reason why the Mets are now adamant in trying to fill basically a stopgap option for the hot corner infield platoon option as a whole, after losing out on Ronnie Mauricio for the likely entire 2024 season due to his unfortunate injury. So since that injury has happened, you could tell the Mets were definitely viewing Mauricio as a potential third base fit. Probably a guy that could play his way better than everyone else in that position. Maybe not with the defense, but certainly with the bat-to-ball skills. He has proven more and a shortened sample size than what Brett Beatty has given you at the MLB level. Beatty has struggled so heavily to lift the ball. I firmly believe that given a leash, Brett Beatty can still exceed or get close to his potential, but I understand the Mets are trying to be wary, and of course the Beatty has a lot of inconsistencies. Say he really struggles and needs to be sent back down to AAA. Say he gets injured, you want to make sure that you have affordable options in the organization already. Gio Urshela, looking at stat line down below, again, he's a really good high contact hitter. He, of course, is not known for the power whatsoever. Would like to make note of, however, that in a shortened sample size last season against left-handed pitching, something that the Mets have struggled so mightily with, including guys like Pete Alonso, big righty bats in this lineup. The lefties and McNeil and Nimmo have been the better hitters against lefties in recent years. Point is that Gio Urshela batted for a well over 800 OPS, like a 370 average. He killed it against lefties, albeit a small sample size this past year. And the year prior, in 2022, in a bigger sample size, had better numbers against lefties than righties. I like that as a platoon infield option. Basically a Luis Guillorme on steroids. You can utilize him in any which way in which he'll be at minimum average, if not a plus defender at third base, second base, even at first base if you need Gio Urshela. He can give you it. You want to give Lindor, say, one and only off day at shortstop? Gio can do it. And speaking of Francisco Lindor, both him and Like are absolute best friends. Great relationship going back to their time in Cleveland. And as they were both, of course, teammates there in that infield for a couple years with the Cleveland Guardians. And furthermore, the Mets' new third base coach just came over from Cleveland, where he spent the past decade with Tito, right? So he understands both Lindor and Gio very well, probably better than most coaches in Major League Baseball currently. So they would be rekindling all those relationships. Gio is still young, has upside, doesn't have the power, but again, as a platoon guy, splitting some time with Beatty, either based on matchups or also because of inconsistencies, and just having a true formidable high contact bat off the bench who is a defensive wizard in the sense where you can utilize him in various ways. He is what Joey Wendell hopefully will never be for the Mets this upcoming season. We do not want to see Joey Wendell getting many starting reps whatsoever. We don't want to see him in many games. We want him more so as a defensive late game replacement. Gio Urshela has a much higher upside than just a late game defensive replacement, can give you high contact ability, key matchups down the stretch in games as a pinch hitter as well, can start some games in the hot corner for you if you need him to. And again, if there's inconsistencies, if there's injuries, this is where someone like Gio Urshela comes into play. He's a proven infielder at this point in his career. He can handle big market like he did during his time in the Bronx with the Yankees, and he would rekindle that relationship with Lindor, in which they would effortlessly be able to turn a double play, going whatever they want to do. So I love, love, love the idea of bringing in both these players. Of course, because I love it, and a lot of us fans tend to agree, that actually means it's not going to happen given our luck. But still, I like the fact that the Mets are pursuing both these players. I truly hope that they land both, but if not, if the Mets land one of them, I'll be happy. But I will say this, if they don't land JD Martinez and they land Gio Urshela, they still need to add a power bat to said lineup. If they do not do so, then it's certainly going to be disappointing heading into now this 2024 calendar season. But Gio Urshela with the high contact, JD Martinez with the power, with the offensive ability, that will be checking off 2 boxes right there for this team heading into 2024. Then offensively, the only real thing you could argue that they should be looking to add is left field. What are they going to do there? Tyrone Taylor is not someone that we want to see starting every single day. So how will they address that position for a more everyday outfielder? Should they land both JD Martinez and Gio Urshela would have yet to be seen. But Mets fans, whoever you're a fan of, I want to know how you're feeling about the potential of the Mets landing both of these players and Gio Urshela and JD Martinez alike. Do you like that combo? Do you like that fit? When you look at other potential combo fits out there this offseason, I wouldn't hate the idea of, say, a Gio Urshela and a Jorge Soler, but there's a reason as to why we haven't heard much linkage between Soler and the Mets at this point until proven otherwise. So whatever your thoughts are, whether you agree, disagree, indifferent, whether you think there's better options or other options that could be feasible for this team, let me know down below, because again, the whole purpose of this video is not only connecting the dots with these players and why they would be nice fits for the Mets, but more so because these are guys that are already being pursued by the Mets. So this isn't as much hypothetical as this is realistic, as long as the Mets can come out and land said players, assuming that they have a strong level of interest in both Gio and JD Martinez alike. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. Stay tuned. We'll be covering all things Mets all off season long. We're back at it with big new live shows this week. I'm assuming on average we'll be going live probably every other day, if not even more so, should inevitable signings and trades happen in the coming weeks. So make sure you're chiming into it all. And again, thank you so much for the endless support. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.